Reimagining Success, episode 283. And it's a really positive episode this week because we're looking at moments of redefining success that can come in really negative, pivotal moments in our life, right? When we're burned out, when we're feeling disengaged and unfulfilled. But they can also come when we're feeling very fulfilled. We've accomplished what we set out to accomplish. And that can also be a really powerful and insightful moment to reflect, to take stock and consider what might be next. So if that's you, if that sounds intriguing, what might be next for me in terms of redefining what success looks like, then have a listen to this episode. And I look forward to hearing what you think. Welcome to Reimagining Success, your compass for navigating a world where the traditional 9 to 5 no longer fits our needs or aspirations. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg, former corporate insider turned business mentor, executive coach, and mum of 2, here to guide you as you craft a career and a life that's filled with freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment. Join me as I uncover actionable strategies, share inspirational stories, and equip you with the tools to thrive in today's evolving workplace. Ready to redefine success? Let's get started. Over the last few weeks, I've been digging into some of the more negative states of being when it comes to career and development. So burnout, busyness, and boredom. And today and over the next few weeks, I wanted to shift gears into some more positive states. So where we're kind of aspiring to be, and of course, how we can get there. And to kick things off, I want to look at this state of feeling accomplished. So to some extent, things are fine in a way, right? They're good. Yeah, I've achieved a lot. I'm in a good place. Comfortable, ticking the boxes, being productive, all hunky-dory. So what's the problem? Well, there is no problem, but I think we can do better than that. So feeling accomplished, it's a great achievement. There is really a huge amount of fulfillment that comes from, as I said, ticking off the boxes and working towards goals and achieving them. I think that's really one of the biggest motivators for us as human beings. It's growth, it's challenge, it's development, right? So we're in a really good place where we've achieved perhaps the goals we set. We defined what success was for ourselves and we achieved that. Or we've just, if we can call it just, work towards the more traditional definitions of success in terms of career progression. We've got that promotion, we've hit where we wanted to hit in terms of leadership role or growing the business or whatever that is, and perhaps also in our personal life, right? We have the 2.4 children or whatever the average is now, got the nice car, and we've built a nice house here by the sea and whatever it is. So you're feeling pretty good. So that's a great place to be. However, it's an interesting point to reflect and to think about, okay, is this sort of the end? And if you're young, which I think most of you are, in fact, anybody listening to this, I would wager is young enough to still have a lot of oomph in your life, years and decades ahead, hopefully, knock on wood. And so this is a great time to reflect and look ahead. When we're in that comfort zone and delivering within our wheelhouse, we're known, we're respected, we're well established, we're getting results, rather than wait until you're in an uncomfortable position, back again to burnout, boredom, the organization is restructuring, your role is at risk, your business isn't doing so well, there's an economic downturn, blah, blah, blah. Some of the things are happening now. Then being proactive and thinking about how you might strengthen your position further, diversify, make sure you're staying competitive and engaged are really valuable. So it's a classic thing. You don't want to be updating your CV and trying to network with people when you're already unemployed. Of course you will and you should, but better to build that network, positioning, branding, and so on when you're not in a desperate position, because you're in a much stronger position, as we all know, both confidence-wise and on paper, you just are a more appealing candidate, right, for example. So I really do think, although there is no burning urgency, when you're in this place of feeling good about what's going on, that is a great moment to reflect, because there's no urgency. Exactly, that's the point. There's no immediate need or necessity. There's no pressure to do something. You're in this really luxurious position where you could stay where you are and really enjoy it for years to come. But perhaps you don't want to stay there the next 1, 2, 3 more decades. And so that's the moment to reflect on what could be the next shift when the time comes. And it all starts with curiosity. So looking back into the past, how did you get here? And where is here, by the way? What are you doing? What is it that you're doing? And understanding sort of the ups and downs, the highlights and maybe lowlights of your journey that got you here in the first place. What do you really love about the work that you do, about your life right now, as well as what don't you love so much? What are your strengths, your super strengths, if you want to call them that, your personality strengths? Yes, your hard skills, your soft skills, all the usual stuff. Importantly, your values, right? What's really, really important to you? And then you'll see if there is a disconnect perhaps between those values and where you are now. But it's really all about self-awareness, about who you are and what's important to you. And this understanding, this awareness is going to serve as your compass now to direct you towards the next part of your journey. So having that vision of the future, grounding yourself in your values, having a really clear picture of your strengths and your skills, that's what's going to sort of arm you, equip you to navigate this next stage. And I want to emphasize that it's not just about chasing the next goal, right? Because there is no rush, first of all. And secondly, you should be enjoying, celebrating, reaping the rewards of all the hard work you've done to get here. So it's not in any way to undermine, to take away from the incredible achievements. And if you're happy where you are, again, that's a great place to be. But you'll be more empowered to navigate any setbacks in the future and to make a different choice, should you so wish to in the future, if you've done kind of the prep work of understanding this kind of thing now. And maybe with that increased awareness of knowing what you might need to do to achieve that next stage, you could already start get the wheels in motion, as it were, to not leave that until that day when it becomes suddenly very urgent and important. Now, you also don't want to distract from the things that are working, right? So you don't want to stop doing all the things, let's say, that are making your business thrive right now. You don't want to completely step back from being an incredible top performing employee and then sabotage the success that you've got. So we're not talking about that. You actually need to maintain that momentum in all the business as usual while you're exploring, reflecting on what else there might be for the next stage. And one great way to do that, by the way, is to get feedback. And if you're an employee, you're in the fortunate position where you can get that from your boss, from your team, from your employees as well in the organization, whether formally or informally, from mentors and so on in the work capacity, to really understand where they see your strengths are, what the opportunities are, what perhaps they have in terms of ideas for what might be opportunities next, and so on, what's in the future, what's in the pipeline. And by the way, then if your boss has a very different vision to yours, you'll have a clear idea of that as well. And also, by all means, from your personal life, right, from your partner, from your family, talk to them about how they feel things are going. And maybe there's a disconnect there as well, by the way, or maybe it's working really well for you all. One of the frameworks that I share quite a bit here is my 5 L's. So if you want to learn more about it, I'll put that out there right away, is to say, if you go to onestepoutside.com/success, onestepoutside.com/success, you'll get the details on what the 5 L's are and a little assessment. But really, it's a tool to help you and a framework to help you think about the different areas of your life that matter. So your health and well-being, relationships, your career in terms of the impact you're making and legacy you're leaving and so on, as well as how you're growing and developing, and then all the fun stuff as well. So it might, again, help you to take a step back and reflect on what's working, what's not, where there might be opportunity to go a bit deeper, or to, what some area of your life that needs more attention, perhaps. Where could you feel more fulfilled? Maybe it's not working so much, and maybe it's not work that needs more attention. Maybe right now you have accomplished and are accomplishing, you're on track when it comes to the career domain, but there is something in your personal life that perhaps is not where you're feeling so fulfilled, and that requires or desires more attention and energy from you. So see where curiosity leads you, really. I suppose the only other couple of things to say is sort of some practical things that you might try, and I don't want to impose things, certainly things that I'm not using myself in some cases, but of course gratitude exercises, for example, can be really helpful at the end of the day, just to reflect on, it helps a lot, in fact, when you're in some of those negative stages that we talked about as well, the busyness and boredom and so on. It can help you to be really grateful and aware of what you do have, because it's so easy, again, to get caught up in chasing that next thing. So being present and being grateful can be really powerful. It doesn't mean that you don't want something else as well or instead, but it does give you a much more positive framework to start. So gratitude exercises, journaling, perhaps, before you go to bed, first thing in the morning. Who knows what kind of insights come from that? Vision boarding. I'm sure I've got episodes on that in the past, on how to just organically really sort of flip through magazines, pull out words and pictures and things that resonate with you and see what might shed some light on, gaps or things that could excite you in the future. And all sorts of exercises I could give you, in terms of thinking back to what did you want to be when you were growing up, and how would you spend your time if you took a year off? What conferences would you go to if you could go to anything? Or where would you travel to? What books do you love reading? What podcasts? What are the topics that are really exciting you? Really making sure that you're sort of taking a huge, big perspective on what could be interesting to you. You can still make intentional choices not to do them. But, let's say an example I often give from personal experience, you've always wanted to be a writer, write a book. Well, is now maybe as good a time as any to dust that ambition off the shelf and take it down and have a look at how you might make that happen. Or you want to travel to South America. That was something I wanted to do, and I took a sabbatical in 2013 and travelled there 3 months. I'd still love to go back. I didn't really spend a lot of time in Brazil, didn't go to Colombia and some other places, so I'd love to spend more time there. But what are the things that, you don't want becoming regrets further down the line, essentially? So some pretty big picture questions to ask. I need a break. I'm going to go for a walk after this episode. I've been recording a lot of episodes and I can feel my tongue running away from me. But I think this is actually a really fun one. So I'll cut this short and leave you to reflect. Because again, to summarize, you're in a great place. You're feeling accomplished. You've achieved a lot of what you want to achieve, maybe everything, but I'm sure there's more. You can celebrate that, be grateful, enjoy, and continue the exploration, keep pushing those boundaries. What more could be possible if you've achieved all this? What other areas of your life could you also bring that same energy, motivation, and talent that you brought to the workspace? What more is there? So getting curious and reflecting on what could be more values aligned for you, more challenging for you, more balanced for you, more fulfilling, whatever that is, right? So something, and it's so individual that it's impossible to diagnose it on a general podcast, but something could be needing or wanting more attention from you. And it's really worth exploring what that might be. Okay, I'd love to hear your insights on this one. And if you do want any exercise and things, I have a lot. So you can ping me on your favourite social platform if we're connected, or email podcast@onestepoutside.com. Okay, see you next week. Explore a broader definition of success with my free assessment to consider what success really means to you across different areas of your life. Evaluate where you are today and prioritise the right goals to get you to where you want to be. Get your copy at onestepoutside.com/success. That's onestepoutside.com/success.